We are live. We are live, and I'm coming at you with five. Welcome again to another episode of Gavin on my channel, Gbucci786. We also got people on Periscope as well as Gavin Richard, the self-entitled YouTube page. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're blessed and doing safe. We got a few people that are coming in. Y'all join us. We got somebody on Periscope. Uh, what's going on? Come on in. Second. All right. I'm just gonna get started because it is late tonight, and uh, I'm trying to get some more people in. I'm tweeting it up with Brother Bernard. Y'all check out Brother Bernard's channel, King BJ Johnson. Brother Bernard is like myself on the Judge Joe Brown show that is hosted by our very own our friend Valerie Denise Jones. She is the moderator for the group, and almost she's the moderator and producer on that show. So what we watched, obviously, I'm trying to find the right words for it, but it basically put Jerry Springer to shame. That's what it felt like. For those of you kids who don't remember, back in the 90s, of course, people may know who Jerry Springer is as a washed up talk show host who's doing a judge show now. But Jerry Springer back in the early 90s, the late 90s, he had his own self entitled talk show. And I think it lasted for a long time because he's been a long for long shows used to be about being informative and having educational things and so forth, entertainment topics. And of course, it later became what we call trash TV because there would be uh, people arguing and fighting, throwing things at each other. Fights would break out, that type of stuff. And so what I saw tonight what I saw tonight would be an understatement of that. Like it was just plain flat out awful what we saw tonight. We got two people in the chat room. We got some people in the chat. Y'all shout out and say where you coming from. Say hello, everybody. Y'all leave a comment. Come on, we're gonna get it in tonight. Yeah. So tonight, this was the first presidential debate, maybe even the last one, if it's gonna be like this, because it was just so. It was a lot. It was completely unprofessional, I guess, and lack of decorum, especially on the part of the president, Donald Trump. There were some things, obviously, I didn't. He was talking over everyone, talking over the moderator, as well as talking over Joe Biden. And of course, there was some points with Biden, and I'll give Biden credit for this from time to time. Uh, you know. But of course, there were some things that I didn't think Joe Biden was being truthful on, especially the part with Antifa. Now, we got to be clear about something because when it comes to these presidential elections, and I've noticed that a lot of people put their hopes and faith in in politicians in general, but in the presidency as well. And I remember during the election of President Barack Obama how uh, some people, I remember one woman was even saying when Barack Obama gets in office, she's actually gonna have her rent paid, her rent's gonna be paid, and she's gonna get all of this, things are gonna be great and hunky dory. People thought he was gonna come in with a magic wand and change things, and little did they know, to their shock and astonishment, that that did not happen. In fact, it got even worse with some things, in particular with the race relations under Obama. Now, that is not to say that all of it was his fault, but I do believe had he prosecuted, uh, had his justice efforts to prosecute some of these officers perhaps we would not have had the election of Donald Trump and black men right now not feeling these presidential candidates to the beginning. To begin with, Daniel Pantaleo from New York should have been prosecuted for choking out Eric Garner. You know, we have this situation not just with Eric, and I say with Eric Garner, you also had the situation with Michael Brown. And according to T. West out in Ferguson, that incident never happened the way that Darren Wilson described what happened with Mike Brown. And that whole story didn't make sense, guys. Never made any sense. But tied it to what I saw today in the presidential election, and I sat through and watched it, I knew from the beginning it was going to be a whole bullying thing by Trump, and he was going to be talking over uh, Biden and interrupting him. I knew it was going to happen because he's done it before. He did it with Hillary when they were interrupting each other. He would be in jail by now and saying all types of stuff like that. So I wasn't shocked by that. Now, what I looked at and I thought it was interesting. Everybody is saying, of course, that the moderator Chris Wallace was awful. And yeah, he was. I didn't think he was that great. He didn't impress me. Um, but Chris Wallace, he's the correspondent for Fox News out in Washington. And I was watching the debates, the post coverage after the debates on churchmilitant.tv, which is a Catholic news website. I also looked at CBSN. And what I think is interesting when you look at those, you can tell how biased the media is because one group obviously is going to say that Trump was great with this, and another group is going to say no, Biden was great with this, and how bad uh, Trump was. And I noticed that the script in the in those different channels, how they have certain perspective that they want to indoctrinate the people on. And mainstream media is like that. And let's be real, a lot of people, when Donald Trump was running for president, people in the mainstream media did not want Donald Trump as president. Now, one of the things I noticed too, he was not so quick, of course, to denounce white supremacy. Although he and the white supremacists, he hesitated and then he said, well, I've denounced them, but I also want to denounce those on the left, which, uh, is a la the Charlottesville incident. And they made a point and Chris Wallace was throwing softball questions, I think, at Biden and points about why he wanted to run for president because he was trying to, because of what happened, incidents like Charlottesville. Biden has made it abundantly clear for those that don't know or have forgotten that his top priority when he gets in office is LGBTQ. There was no. They talked about how Trump called himself, arguably, that he has done more for the black community and perhaps Abraham Lincoln. I did like the fact that he brought up the 1994 crime bill, which was a fact. Joe Biden was a part of that. Let's be real about this. Joe Biden helped sponsor that crime bill. Now, that bill was responsible for destroying the black family unit in the 90s. That is a fact. That played a huge role. And before you tell me, well, they were the black congressmen that also supported it, that doesn't justify it either because whether they supported it or not, and of course, we got to deal with those people as well and get them out. Uh, you know, I I don't like career politicians to begin with. I think that becomes a problem when people keep getting reelected over and over again, and when there are no results. But he mentioned, I'm talking about Joe Biden now, how he tries to divide this nation, which, of course, I think Trump thrives on that. But I also know that, well, wait a second, what have the far left done with regards to the black community, especially with these protests and riots that we have seen? Most of them have actually been caused by, if you see the people that are protesting, are white people or people from the far left that you see. It's not black people that have been doing all the looting and rioting. That every so-called Black Lives Matter movement has been co-opted in large part. We've talked about the agenda that they've been pushing. For instance, they removed that uh, those messages from their website about what they feel about the nuclear black family. They've actually taken that off and scrubbed it. But we've been talking about that for months and months. Um, Other things they talking about, you tried to talk about climate change and economy. And guys, I just really lost it. Trump mentioned Hunter Biden and the deal that he had with uh, Russia, and I guess whether he got paid millions of dollars working with Russia. What's up, Bernard? That's brother Bernard there. He brought that up, and you guys know I have had brother Joe Brown on here, Judge Joe Brown and Randy Short, and I was actually talking to Doctor Short while we were watching the debates, and it was interesting what he had to say. I'm trying to get him back on, but he thought Trump won. And some people, I don't know if anybody else thinks Trump won. I thought Biden, just on, if we're just going on demeanor and style, he won. And keep in mind, this is not Biden's first rodeo with running for president. He's run practically every year except for, you could say, the time when he ran, when Trump and Hillary ran. He has always run for president. He ran back in '08, ran back in the '80s, the '90s, and he never got the nomination because nobody liked him. He's not a likable candidate. His vice presidential nominee is not a likable candidate either. Nobody's feeling him. I'm not feeling Mike Pence either as VP. I wasn't impressed by him. And let me just say, I think it would be worse for people on the left than what we have with Trump, believe that or not, because here's someone who is more competent, someone that is more experienced, I should say, in government, your your Mike Pence. Got people watching on Periscope on all three channels. What's up, family? What's up? How y'all doing? I see Brother Bernard is in. Brother Bernard, you want to leave another comment? Anybody else want to leave some comments? Shout out who you are so I can put you all in the chat. But I mean, you should read the comments. It was bad all day. Uh, I'm reading what Nicole said on Twitter. She says, shout out to Nicole's view. She says, the only winner of tonight's debate was the non-voter. Tonight was concrete proof as to why most people don't even bother with politics. It's literally political theater. And tonight we literally saw a shit show with presidential debate 2020 rebuttals. Indeed, it was a shit show. I'm just reading what different people are saying. People are saying when Trump was talking, he literally told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. Yeah, did he say that? He did. You know what I thought of this debate, in my opinion, this was just the third version of Grumpy Old Men. Excuse me, not the third version. The third movie without Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, because they're both dead. We got the grumpiest old men, because it was just bad. It was just bad overall. Uh, he wasn't, and one thing I can say positive about Biden, he wasn't babbling and as incoherent with the gaffes that he did. I guess he had his injections. And he didn't implode on stage like talking about it. No. So I give him credit where credit is due. And Judge Joe, I'm looking at this. He said Trump was specifically asked if he repudiated white supremacists. He answered, sure. That's on Twitter. Left is having a meltdown because he didn't say it in a complete sentence. How many times do they want him to keep repeating himself? These are from others. He has said it, but the issue with how he has said it is that he always wants to include the left. He always tries to put it in a way, from our perspective and a lot of other people's perspective, that he is trying to not make them seem as bad or as evil as they are. Now, I do know, yes, he has said that, but his Charlottesville response was awful. And there's truth to that, to what that comment was made on Judge's Twitter page, because as soon as that came out, the New York Times, it was reported, and this is what Church Militant.tv was talking about, how it's biased against Trump. They put out the article that Trump refused to repudiate white supremacists. We'll put that up here. Was USA Today. This was 49 minutes. Okay, so yeah, he said stand by, stand back and stand by. When Biden asked name a group, he said Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. Wait, here's part of tonight's clip. Here's a clip from the debate tonight. So for you guys that haven't heard it, I'm going to put the article actually in the chat box so you guys can hear. I see people asking, what country do we want to live in? So some people aren't happy about it. Hold on a second. Let's see. I'm gonna make sure you guys can hear and see the video. So I think overall, and I'm gonna play the video, but I want you all to. I'm gonna say some final comments because I told you this is not gonna be a long.
You have repeatedly. You have repeated. No, you've been talking back and forth. You made a statement. I'm asking you.
I would love to end it,
sir.
I would love to end it.
If you want to switch seats,
we could very quickly.
We could do that, but I'm
send in the National Guard. It would be over. There'd be no problem.
Okay,
but they don't want to accept the National Guard.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say
and he said, okay, so
need to stand
I did hear Trump say sure. So in the spirit of fairness, yes, I did hear him say sure in that.
Add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland.
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared
to
specifically
do it?
Well,
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. You want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and
Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem.
His
This
own
is a left-wing.
FBI director
This
said
is a
the threat
left-wing
comes
problem.
from white
Go ahead, sir.
supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got to be
not
kidding.
militia. That's what
Oh, really?
his
It's an idea.
FBI,
Okay.
FBI director
Gentlemen,
said.
Well, then you know what?
No,
He's
no, we're
wrong.
done. We're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're
Everybody
When
moving.
a
gives you
bat
advice
hits
in
you
your
over the head, that's
administration.
not an idea.
Everybody in
Antifa
your
is bad.
administration tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no ideas.
Antifa is a dangerous,
All right,
radical
gentlemen, we're
group.
now moving.
So that was just an example and taste of the shit show that we were dealing with that is going on. So I want to see what you all think about it. Brother Bernard, I'm sure he's still on here. He's watching or he's off. Okay. It was certainly, we got people that are watching. I see a few people in here. I was wondering if they had a comment. I wish you guys would comment on it. We were talking about the presidential debate. Uh, and I was trying to see if anybody had opinions about it because I know it is late. But we're gonna do the damn thing. As a matter of fact, guys, you please check out and donate to the channel, the Cash App, Gavin Richard Esquire 021 at gmail.com. Again, gavin.grich1 at gmail.com. Please like and share this video. I don't know. Hold on a second. We got two more debates, presidential debates like this. I don't know what to deal with that. Okay. Two more of those guys. We'll get through it. I really can't wait till this stuff ends. But again, I don't see, this is me, I don't see Joe Biden because he's just not he's just not a strong candidate. You also got to factor into that a lot of Hispanics, white Hispanics, uh, people who come, even the people who come across the border, they see themselves, most, not all of them, but a lot of them see themselves as white and as Republicans. They don't even vote in blocks. Black people vote in block because we are the only group of people that are loyal to a particular party. We do not vote on our interests. And that is what I've been trying to get black people to do for the last 10 years, 8, 12, 10 to 12 years. I've been thinking about black people voting for what is in our best interest and not being loyal to any party, especially if they are not loyal to us and they are not willing to push our agenda and tangibles. And that was something that was also missing from this. There was no talk of tangibles, no talk of reparations. Of course, I'm not surprised that it wasn't. And of course, yeah, obviously telling the Proud Boys to stand by. He fell for that trap and got caught. But Biden, he refused and stayed to Renella to give uh, obviously more money. And he has said in the past few months that he's for giving police officers more funding, more money. Of course, police unions and so forth are very powerful. They endorse the presidents, especially they vote Republican unanimously most of the time because they know that they are the law and order. I guess you want to say use the term law and order president, law and order policies. That's usually what they align with, and they vote for it all the time. 90% of the time they vote Republican. So just trying to see who else is there. But this was a complete train wreck of a. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything. I expected it though. It was everything I expected, and I think people were upset with the decorum of it. And Trump obviously had no decorum, but I would say probably the person really who won this entire night was the non-voter, the people who are not voting because they saw how much of a sham this whole thing was. And if you don't want that answer and you want a more politically correct answer, then I would say Biden likely won because Biden has been in this game longer and he knew about handling and giving people the answers that they wanted to hear. Of course, when they didn't mention, I don't think they even got to the Supreme Court candidate too much from reading it. They didn't talk about Barrett so much. But I will say this: when it comes to talks about abortion and so forth, the reason why they're scared of her is because they know that she's a Catholic and there's a likelihood that she will rule against Roe v. Wade if it came up. They did mention that too, saying you never got her opinion. He had talked about the candidate, said you never got her opinion. Now, the first thing they talked about was about picking the nominee and whether that was the president's right or not. Now, the reason why people are all up in arms is because this is a Republican president in office who wants to appoint a conservative nominee. And the left is going nuts about it because they don't want it there while the election is going on. But hey, when the roles were reversed, they wanted Obama to pick a candidate when who's the justice that stepped down? He was always a swing vote. It's not Brian. He was always a swing vote. I'm trying to think of his damn name. It escapes me. But at any rate, it didn't work out that way. He was a swing. He's a swing vote justice. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I think it was Brian. I could be wrong. No, it's Kennedy. It's Kennedy. Yeah, that's who it was. Anthony Kennedy. He's always been the swing vote in every Supreme Court decision. Have a conservative that's likely to come in. They know that there's a possibility if it came up that abortion may be overturned in this country now. That is something I will do for a later video, but in truthfulness, the reason why abortion was legalized had nothing to do with trying to support the rights of women. Women still make less than men statistically. Uh, women still get abused and mistreated. It had nothing to do with that. Our main reason was they want to control the population of certain peoples and individuals, in particular, those are Black people. But we'll deal with that a little bit later. But this is something it's something that Sean James even talked about when we discussed he's discussed the presidential elections. Uh, the president is a reflection of we the people. And if this is what we have, the best that we can do, then maybe the problem isn't just the candidates, the problem is us. I think that the problem is with us right now because America is broken right now. America is in bad shape. And this is a reflection of that. Like Judge Joe Brown even said, Trump reflects reality. So, with that said, because it is getting late, I didn't want to be long with this broadcast, but you guys don't let anybody, no matter who becomes president, you don't let that person affect your life and get your blood pressure all worked up because at the end of the day, this is just a show. And that was what we got tonight. This was a shit show. Y'all don't let anybody, you're responsible for you at the end of the day. Yeah, you elect these people and they're in charge of certain things. But like I said, we got to build wealth. We got to build, if we're going to do anything, once we build that wealth, we do get in touch and get involved in our local politics. Um, find out who your city or district attorneys are worth a damn. Make sure you're serving when you get a jury summons. Don't resist. Go and sit in a jury booth, in a jury pool, so that you can learn the system because you might be the person who actually makes that change, make that that decision or that vote in the jury room as to whether charges will be made against the cop that kills another black person unarmed, unjustly, just based on the facts and circumstances, of course. But anyway, guys, don't ignore that. And that's the only main reason why you should register to vote, if anything. But be involved in your local politics, but build wealth, create some businesses. Don't let anything like this fool you and deter you from doing what you need to accomplish and what you're trying to do in life. And with that, guys, I am out. You guys have a great night. Please subscribe to this channel. Also, donate to the channel, the Cash App, Gavin Richard Esquire. You see it at the ticker below. But yes, the non-voter won tonight, and maybe the vice presidential debates will be much more professional than this. But you see the ticker at the bottom. Please donate to the channel. I'm Gavin Richard, where Gavin Richard presents. Also, subscribe to the Anchor podcast, Gavin Richard Presents, for my more raw and uncut views on the world today. I'll holla. Peace.